There was a corporate bond which was given in 2025 by Safaricom. The time frame for application was supposed to be on November 5th to December 5th, 2025. I believe I'm right because this video I'm doing it on 5th March 2026. So I believe on the date I'm right. Now, out of curiosity, I found myself on Safaricom website and I did my to find out how do corporate bonds do behave when it comes to Kenyan context. Now, in this video, I'm going to do some calculations to find out how much, if you had that opportunity to invest with that corporate bond, how much would you have gained if you invested a minimum of 50,000 Kenyan shillings? We are going to do some calculations and find the total amount which you may gain if you had that opportunity for the time frame which was supposed to be 5 years. That bond is supposed to last for 5 good years. Now, this is not financial advice. I, out of curiosity, trying to find out how these things work. And if you're interested in that kind of content, subscribe, like, and don't forget to share. So let's go forward. The amount which you are going to start with is the minimum 50,000 Kenyan shillings invested in Safaricom corporate fund. The time frame is supposed to be 5 good years, and the interest is supposed to be 10.40%. And as I've read, this interest is supposed to be exempt from tax. So you are not supposed to be taxed on the interest which you are going to gain. Probably it's because it's somehow related to environment. It's environmentally friendly. It's a green note, a medium note. A medium note is that bond which lasts between, let's say, five, not five, 2 to 10 years. So because the time frame is 5 years, then it's medium. Now we are going to start for the very first year. How much are you likely going to gain for the 50,000 Kenyan shillings which you have invested in Safaricom bond? So you are going to multiply. It's the simple interest formula. So it's 50,000 times, I hope you have a pen and your calculator, times 10.40% times divided by 100. So the interest you are supposed to gain, I have a calculator somewhere. The first year's interest you are supposed to gain, so it's 50,000 times 10.4 divided by 100. So the first year's interest is supposed to be 5,200. It's supposed to be 5,200. I believe they are going to behave as other common bonds, that is, you are supposed to be given semi-annually. So after 6 months, if you had an opportunity and your bond was approved, after 6 months you are supposed to gain a half of this 5,200. So we divide by 2. After 6 months you are supposed to gain 2,600. That's your first interest for the first year. So since, unless things change, but this interest is supposed to be consistently for the time frame agreed, that is 5 good years. So to find the total amount which you would have accumulated in terms of the interest in these 5 good years, then we should go ahead and multiply the 5,200 Kenyan shillings. You multiply by 5 good years. So it's 5,200 times 5. So the total interest you could have gained by you just investing in this Safaricom corporate bond or green note is supposed to be 26,000 Kenyan shillings for the next 5 years. So, and by the end of the year, not by the end of the year, but by the end of these 5 years, you would have your principal back of 50,000 Kenyan shillings. So that's it. So in general, the interest which you have already put which you could have gained from Safaricom plus the total principal which you had invested earlier of 50,000 Kenyan shillings. If you add the totals, you will find it is supposed to be 50,000. It's supposed to be 76,000. That's the total amount. Maybe which you could have for if you decided maybe not to take the interest out of your bank account. Now, there are some things which you need to realize before going ahead and invest in these corporate bonds. Number one, they are somehow risky compared to government bonds. That's why most individuals, more especially if you are not aware of what goes into investing in corporate bonds, then generally don't risk. Yeah, Safaricom is a decent company. You can go ahead and invest with Safaricom. They're a decent company. They have an opportunity for growth. They are going to the outside markets, for example. They want to penetrate in Ethiopia. And also in Kenya, they are doing phenomenally well. So you can invest in Safaricom. It's promising. But at the end of the day, these results which you are seeing, it's promising. It's because we have seen what they have done in the past. The future, you really are not aware of what's going to happen in the future. And the other thing which you need to learn from corporate bonds is that they do offer great interest compared to government bonds. The last time I checked on government treasury bills or government bonds, I found that they were roughly giving around 8.89% for a treasury bill. That's which one? That's the one which takes around less than 1 year. So I saw the government was giving 8.89, if I'm not wrong. But see, Safaricom is giving 10.4% on a corporate note, even if it's taking 5 years. But you can see that the interest which you can gain from a corporate bond is higher compared from an interest which you are going to gain from the government bond. That's another kind of thing which you need to have in your mindset. Another thing which you need to be careful when you are going to invest in these corporate bonds is that you really need to understand there are some instances where the corporate bond or the institution which was giving out the bond may decide to call the bond. That is, they may decide to give or to pay the debt back, that's the principal, before the agreed time frame, which means you will cease to have the interest which you could have gained if the bond was held up to maturity. So that's something which you need to be aware of when you are interested to find out what are the times or the agreements before you acquire that corporate bond. And the main reason why they may end up calling the bond before its maturity is probably they may find there are other institutions, either the government or different institutions, which are giving out loans, that is, they are buying their own bonds at a cheaper interest compared to what they initially offered. So that's something which we should always take into consideration before acquiring these corporate bonds. Anyway, what are your thoughts about investing in corporate bonds? For example, we have seen some of the interest which you could have gained if you had an opportunity to apply and be approved by Safaricom corporate bond. My name is Muslim Augustine. If you are interested in this kind of videos, remember to subscribe, like, and also don't forget to share. Anyway, get excited, have some curiosity when it comes to investing, and that's exactly what you are doing. See you in my next one.